The pandemic has underscored the power of technology in helping companies and governments and families get through this, and Microsoft Teams has been a huge part of that and has been an incredible growth story. Give us a snapshot of just how much Teams has grown through the pandemic.
One of the things that really got upended across industries was how do you connect people? So if you have someone on the front lines and then an engineer perhaps working from home, how do you connect? So the Teams growth was not just about knowledge workers collaborating, but it was in fact really helping frontline workers and knowledge workers come together to keep business continuity and our society and our economy going. In fact, I shudder to think even what the economic activity would have been, or what the state of services that we all have today would have been, but for the state of today's technologies and that cloud architecture. And Teams clearly has been a massive growth story for us, but it's mostly because of the context of the constraints and how to overcome them.
Now you're on to what you believe will be your next massive line of business, employee experience. Tell us about your newest product, Microsoft Viva.
The thing that the pandemic has put really shine the light on is how important the experience for the employees is, right? I mean, when you're remote in particular, you want to be staying engaged with your business and your company and its sense of purpose and mission. You want to be able to collaborate, like as I said, between the folks on the front lines and the knowledge workers. You want to be able to actually start learning, say, as a new employee I join, how do I build that knowledge capital by learning from others when I don't have some of the same social structures of the workplace? I need to be able to find them online, learn from them, as well as the learning content needs to be delivered more in the workflow tools I use every day. And lastly, Emily, one of the things that we've also learned a lot about is well-being, because in some sense, some of the practices we had, even the commute practices, were transitions that helped create the clear demarcations between work and life, and those have gone away. And so we've had to introduce even things like virtual commutes and so on in order to help people with transitions. So putting these things all together, the employee engagement, learning, collaboration, and well-being, into one experience platform is what Viva is all about. And I think that this represents a new category creation moment. If you look at the journey we've been on with Microsoft 365, we started with individual tools, it became a collaboration suite, and now we think it's going to really get into a new space around employee experience, more holistically thinking about productivity, not just narrowly as output, but all of learning and well-being and collaboration.
So if you spend your whole day in Teams or Word or Outlook, are you putting all of those in one place? Is that what that would mean for the user?
In fact, it's not. It's the exact opposite, which is to say, use the tool that you're using for example, any of your communication needs or deep work needs. And then in the context of that, let us bring in the other people you want to work with, the learning content that's going to make you more productive, the well-being nudges you need in order to make sure that you have the transition. So that's the main purpose of an employee experience, is to not introduce one more new experience that you need to go to, but to bring an experience that you need in the tools that you're using every day as part of your work.
So how big could this be? Could this be your next $10 billion business? What's the total addressable market?
It's in some sense, the way I think about it is, 30 years ago, if you look at it, we introduced, or the world was introduced to ERP, or enterprise resource planning, as a category. It is interesting even to go back in history and see accounting software always was there, and then there was manufacturing software. And what ERP did was to bring together for the first time the accounting and the line of business, in that case, manufacturing. So what I believe with EXP is, HR software is there, or HCM or human capital management software is there, but it's more about really tying what happens in the HR or people operations to the entirety of the business, right? Whether it's in finance, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in engineering. And so we think that this can be, like in the years to come, in the decades to come, we'll talk about it like a CRM or an ERP class category.